Most women are situationally shy on dates, and the mistake most men make is that they treat shyness as one single thing. So they use the same strategy with every shy woman. And that's exactly how men sabotage their dates. Because in reality, there are two very different types of shy women. And if you treat them the same way, attraction stalls almost every time. What usually happens is this: you go on a date with a woman who's a bit quiet, a bit reserved, and maybe not very expressive at first. And instead of reading why she's shy, you start guessing and swinging between two extremes. On one side, you think, maybe I should just escalate. Maybe I'm being too passive. On the other side, you think, no, she's nervous, so I should be patient and I shouldn't push anything. And then you keep bouncing back and forth between those ideas during the date. That internal consistency makes you seem hesitant and super anxious. And when the date falls flat, you blame yourself and your ability to escalate. But the real issue isn't you, it's that you're using the wrong approach for the wrong type of shyness. And once you understand that there are two completely different kinds of shy women, this confusion will disappear and your dates will start feeling much clearer. As with all my videos, these lessons come from real experiences. This one came from a real date that I had with a girl who seemed shy, but turned out to be a completely different profile than I expected. And I'll tell you that story in just a second. But first, we need to get clear on the two types of shyness because they respond in completely different ways. The first type is what I call expressive shy. This is a woman who actually feels attraction quite quickly, but the reason she seems shy is uncertainty. She doesn't know yet where she stands with you, and she doesn't know if she can relax and be herself without being judged. And here's the key: with expressive shy women, physical escalation helps. So when you gently break through the initial nervousness through physical touch, proximity, leading, she starts to smile, laugh more, and her body softens after touch. And the escalation doesn't create more nervousness nor pressure, it actually creates relief. It's like her nervous system finally goes, okay, I don't have to overthink this anymore. This is actually very common with certain Eastern European women, for example. They can seem reserved or shy on the surface, but once you start leading physically, they almost melt under your touch, and suddenly they're not shy at all. Now, if you misread this type of woman and stay overly cautious and too patient and way too verbal, you actually keep her stuck in this uncertainty. And that's where after date, these women will think, oh, he was just nice, but I just didn't feel it. And most of you watching are making this exact mistake. You're avoiding escalation with expressive shy women, thinking you are building comfort when you actually need to escalate more. Now, the second type of shy woman is what I call contained shy. These women have very high self-control and very high emotional inhibition, and their shyness is not social, it's internal. These women are regulating themselves. You'll often notice it in their body language. A lot of self-soothing gestures, constantly scanning the environment, and here's the critical difference. With contained shy women, physical escalation adds pressure. So when you touch them, it increases their awareness, it adds cognitive load, and instead of helping them relax, it actually tightens them up. And trying to break the ice with physical escalation with these kind of women will backfire. It will not create relief, it'll actually create more containment. And this is the most important distinction in this entire video, and something you should drill into your head. Expressive shy women soften after escalation, contained shy women close up after escalation. So now let's actually talk about how to move forward in a date once you know how to recognize these two types. We'll start with expressive shy. The reason these women seem shy is social inhibition, fear of judgment, and uncertainty. She wants something to happen, but she's waiting for leadership, so there's this unresolved tension. For expressive shy women, touch and escalation reduces that tension. So what you want to do is you want to introduce light, repeated touches to slowly reduce the distance between you and the girl. And when you do this correctly, you'll see very clear feedback. Her body will soften and she'll relax and laugh more. Now, as we discussed, the big mistake men make with expressive shy women is thinking they're being too respectful by waiting too long. So they wait for the perfect signal, over-focus on comfort, and just hesitate. And hesitation is the #1 attraction killer with this type of woman. So if you stay in your head too long, the date doesn't just explode, it sort of just slowly dies. Now let's contrast this and let's talk about how to proceed with contained shy women. The goal of the first date isn't escalation, it's to create familiarity. You want her nervous system to learn something very simple. When I'm with this guy, nothing bad happens. And that means you're staying grounded, calm, unforced. And here's the big mistake men make with contained shy women. They interpret their calmness as boredom. They think, oh, she's not reacting, so I need to do more. But she's not bored, she's just regulating. And when you misread that and you start pushing, you don't create traction, you just create emotional overload. So now let me go back to the story I was telling you earlier that actually helped me understand this and put this all into words. For a long time, my default approach with shy women was pretty simple. Escalate, break the physical barrier, and get them comfortable. And honestly, most of the time, it worked really good. Not always, but it worked often enough that I felt confident in my mental model. But then I met this girl who didn't quite fit. We had a short initial interaction that felt good. We set up a date. She was 23, very disciplined, studies and works as a psychotherapist, plays and coaches women's football. She was shy, but not in the way that I was used to. And I had this strong intuition that if I would escalate with this girl like I normally would, it would just add a lot of unnecessary pressure instead of creating this closeness and breaking the barrier. So instead of pushing forward, I did the opposite. I focused purely on familiarity, simple conversation, talking about our routines, our lives, the things we both care about, and there was no classic escalation, testing boundaries, or trying to move things forward. And during the date, it almost felt like nothing was happening. And yet my intuition still told me to not escalate with her. And then at the end of the day, when we were about to say goodbye, something unexpected happened. She was the one who actually initiated the hug, and she said, "I had a really nice time with you. Thank you for today." And that moment made everything click because she wasn't disengaged, she wasn't bored, she was just self regulating. And once she felt safe and familiar, she opened that door of physical escalation. Now, to be clear, for most guys, the more common mistake is actually the opposite. So they go on dates with expressive, shy women, stay overly cautious, try to build comfort forever, and then the girl walks away saying, like, "Oh, I just didn't feel like it." So different types of shyness require different types of leadership. And once you see that distinction, a lot of the confusion on dates suddenly disappears. Finally, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to learn how to communicate with women in a more effective, grounded way, I've put together a free flirting guide called The Logical Man's Guide to Flirting. Most men are never actually taught what flirting is or how it works. And flirting is one of the most important skills if you want to improve your dating life and your communication with women. And in this guide, I break down what flirting actually is, how to do it in a natural way, and I even give you real life examples that you can apply immediately. It's been read by hundreds of thousands of men and has helped a lot of guys start getting dates. And if you want it, you can simply download it by clicking in the link in the description.